Now, as someone who is obviously a Christian, well, I guess I shouldn't say obviously.
I'm the priest.
I thought women couldn't be priests.
Easy, L. Ron Hubbard.
Peace be with you.
Yes.
Welcome back to the Socialist Star YouTube channel. I am so glad you have returned and given me a chance to laugh with you one more time. And if this is the last time, I gotta say, it's been fun. And if this is one time of many, you are still on the list to receive a blowy.
Try to relax your anus.
Now, if you have been living under a rock or committed yourself to going off the grid, because at this point, the world is full of way too much chaos.
I want a Chris Elliott autograph. Hi.
Cinema has once again gotten some people's boots in a tizzy. Got their drawers all messy, y'all.
What the fuck?
Got their shirts scrunched and in a bunch.
What the fuck?
Got their nut stains ever going.
What the fuck?
This movie has Michael B. Jordan, Haley Steinfeld, Lee Jun Lee, Wonmi Mosako, Jamie Lawson, and f***ing Jack O'Connell. This entire cast not only oozes talent, but also oozes outright sex appeal.
Yes, definitely.
And I haven't even seen the movie yet. I know the film is rather freaky. How do I know it's freaky? The hellscape we all cried and begged to remain, as it has essentially become the new public square because of a dick bad guy so annoyingly dull and useless that even the White House is annoyed by him.
It's happening! It's happening! It's happening!
Bought the previous public square. And what I'm talking about is TikTok. Well, TikTok spoiled it because Twitter couldn't anymore due to it just being a spoiler for whoever's a Nazi in your life. But the earlier referenced freakiness is not why this has landed on my radar. What did land on my radar as I was casually scrolling through TikTok, looking at Michael B. Jordan and good old Jack Mastaba material. Don't judge me. I'm busy and lonely. This movie, which is, and I need you to remember this, rated R. And the name of the movie is Sinners.
I don't know. Notice me, senpai. Notice me.
Rated R. And the name of the movie is Sinners.
Stop yelling at me!
Now, with that in mind, and considering this is an American-made film, what do you think you can automatically expect from it? Guns? Blood? Gore? Really off-putting slow horror? Piss-poor jump scares? And last but certainly not least, butchering of vampires and werewolves? I'm still glad to be a part of Team Hashtag Did That Nigga Just Sparkle.
This is what I am.
I was like, you guys are stupid. Why?
But this film didn't butcher vampires. In fact, from the 35 to 40 odd minutes of the film that I have seen on TikTok, this film pays homage to the usual tropes requiring an invitation, sex appeal, bloody appetite, and no amount of sunscreen can even remotely work. So even though it's no Nosferatu telling you to sit on it and bounce,
you must bounce on it. Crazy style.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
and it's got the sex appeal that Dried Raisin could only beg for. Why in the hell is a channel which is normally about politics, philosophy, and introspectives covering it? 1. Everything is political. 2. Again, sex appeal. 3. Apparently a Christian woman is going viral for her walking out of the movie for spiritual reasons. This lady left for Christian spiritual reasons. She left a movie that was rated R for Christian spiritual reasons. She left a movie that was called Sinners for Christian spiritual reasons. She left a movie that in the year of our Lord 2025, where movie ticket prices are absolutely ridiculous, and she bought a ticket for Christian spiritual reasons.
That don't make sense.
Ma'am, before I cook you myself, you do understand that you had all the red flags on earth for you to not go see this movie, right? Like, that would be if I paid $16.50 to go into a Trump rally and claimed I left because they screamed at my nails and thought because I had said I was socialist that they just assumed, I don't know, I was personally in the no-no with Joseph Stalin.
Hey, get that son of a bitch off the field right now. Out. He's fired. He's fired!
If you aren't politically inclined, that was a joke, by the way. Now, as someone who is obviously a Christian, well, I guess I shouldn't say obviously.
I'm the
I
priest.
thought women couldn't be priests.
Easy, L. Ron Hubbard.
Peace be with you.
Yes.
Although I did shed a tiny tear for the Pope dying because he was kind of cool compared to the rest. And I did make a video on that one pastor who unintentionally and allegedly committed a kidnapping.
Ushers, close the doors. Close the doors.
Which in terms of America is 2 events of Christianity in my life this year. And that essentially makes a full-blooded, God-fearing American out of me. But I cannot begin to make accusations of correlation between a stupid moment and Christianity being convoluted together. But I'm going to.
I walked out on the Sinners movie, y'all, not because it was a bad movie, but because it was too heavy on me spiritually.
I'ma start saying that anytime I want to leave a place and see how it works. Be at someone's wedding and just be like, I'm gonna leave now, not because this wedding is bad, but this is too heavy on me spiritually. Mind you, I am the +1 more than likely to someone because all my friends are basically almost already married, and therefore I've run out of, marriage invitations. I'm old.
And I did not realize it was going to be that heavily spiritual. To be fair, I didn't see any previews at all. I really honestly just wanted to support Ryan and Michael. It was so heavy on me, y'all. I had prayed like 4 times by the time it got to the middle of the movie.
Okay, I'm calling bullshit. Stop the cap. Why you lying? How in the hell does someone pray in the middle of a movie like Sinners?
Explain yourself.
Remember when I said they get freaky in this movie?
Yes! Yes!
Yeah, they get freaky, and I mean freaky.
I heard you loud and clear, but then you stuck your tongue in my coos and fucked me so hard, I figured you changed your mind.
I mean, downright nearly close to hub in this movie. Obviously, you don't see anything because, Hollywood magic. But they get freaky. So while you're in there praying, God is listening in, right? He's picked up the phone. He's hearing your prayers. And it's like, hold up, wait a minute. Is you praying to me while watching porn, shorty? And did you speak at like a prayer level or like do so in your mind? You know what I mean? Like, did you, pray out loud or like, and by loud, I mean, obviously your normal regular voice, or were you just in your own mind? I don't know the exact rules on prayer beyond on your knees, hands together, and eyes closed, with some give or take on either side of those 3. But I do know most people generally pray through speaking.
Correct!
So, was you violating the sacred rule of no talking during the film because you spiritually couldn't handle it? Because if so, them's is fighting actions.
Now shut your mouths or I'll shut them for you. And if you think I'm kidding, just try me.
Not that I endorse violence, but I understand people react.
And the scene where Cornbread came back to the house, shortly after his scene, that next scene made me leave. I couldn't take it. I caught a message that made me start calling on God. Like, I was just saying, my God, my God.
Okay, so did you speak out loud and not into your inner voice during the film? As expensive as movie tickets are these days, if I was in your theater, I am walking out after you and going to guest services and stating, you disturbed my experience, and ran out saying, my God, my God. I wasn't sure if you were horny or had to piss really bad. That way they have to give me a refund and a pass for a free show. See what you have done? You've made me heavily inconvenienced, a minimum wage worker being slaved away in the heat-filled mines of popcorn, not real butter, and being made to wear some of the most uncomfortable outfits of all time. When you are working in a hot as fuck kitchen, popping hot as hell popcorn and making hot as hell food, let me tell ya, slacks, dress shirts, and a fucking blazer is nothing to one's own ability to keep cool.
I kept saying that, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to disturb nobody from trying to watch the movie.
I don't believe you. I just don't. I don't believe you. Sorry. I don't believe you. I'm disturbed and I wasn't even in your theater.
I'm really trying to count the 10. Let me breathe. Let me see if my therapist is on speed dial.
But it was so much to it, y'all, that I was like, I can't. Like, I have to leave. I have to go pray. So I left. I walked out. I might try to go finish it. If you're gonna go see it, please pray before you go see it. Please guard yourself. It is heavily spiritual.
Firstly, don't go back to see it, ma'am. You have a whole lot of other issues to tend to. And if you can't read the messaging correctly, then, you know, it's kind of a waste of time times 2 because you already walked out once on a ticket that you paid for. I haven't even seen the film, and based off what I see, I know the story's basic messaging components. Number 1, Haley Steinfeld passes the one-drop rule figuratively. And literally.
Like it was an equal amount of stepping out of my comfort zone and stepping further into myself.
Yeah.
This role brought me closer to my family history. Part of my research entailed understanding more about just that and having these amazing conversations with my mom about my grandfather who was half Black. This just opened my eyes to so many things, and I really believe that this movie will serve as fun and as scary and as crazy as it is as such an important conversation starter for so many people.
And it brings to light an interesting question. Can she say it? Can she say it? I'm genuinely curious. Number 2. The vampire leader represents colonization and the temptation of assimilation, temptation that several fall for and several don't. And yet, in the end, both sides are severely weakened because a house divided over petty differences cannot stand. So yeah, the script is basically kind of a mirror of the Civil War. What? With vampires. What the fuck? And I got that off of TikTok. So the story ain't got nothing to do with your spirituality. Yeah, vampires are against Christ technically. Yeah, this movie tugs and pulls on your understanding of the Black experience in what I can only assume by the outfits is somewhere around the Prohibition times. And yes, 2 times the Michael B. Jordan is something that is illegal and full of all manner of temptation, sweetie. I get it. But spiritual and needing God? I don't see it. I definitely do not see it being a right to just up and leave. But most important of all, I still do not see nor understand you buying a ticket for a rated R film which is titled Sinners. And you've at least seen a trailer because you knew it was Ryan Coogler directing and wanted to support him. So, you know, vampires were involved, and practically any movie involving vampires will make a diss or tempting move against Christianity. I mean, literally, vampires represent basically like on-earth demons, more or less. Immortal beings that have turned away from Christ in exchange for immortality. And even if the film didn't involve vampires, with a name like Sinners, I assume some major sinning is going to take place. For instance, Sinners 1950s suburbs version is basically just married people having extramarital affairs with a murder twist. Sinners 1970 is just a bunch of hippies getting high and having a group orgy, only to get lost in the woods and discover they are being hunted by devil worshippers led by the G-Men. Sinners 1990s version is just a bunch of internet hackers working together to bring to light sex crimes taking place on the internet, and their ringleader turns out is a pedo who admires Bill Gates. And Sinners 2010 is basically 13 Reasons Why.
You need to move on.
Tell me why.
Move on.
See, all those films would not involve vampires, and yet would test you spiritually if named Sinners. But that isn't the main theme, and definitely not a reason to not watch. Actually, I lied. My spirit was moved, you know, to knock the living daylights out of the jock from 13 Reasons Why for what he did.
Kiss my entire ass.
But that is a different kind of spiritual movement. You know, that's if this was real life, I'd stand happily before the judge and say, you damn right I killed him. One of the biggest reasons of Christianity's decline the past 30 years or so, from the heydays of the 80s, when prosperity preachers were storming the television and radios, is the fact that the American Christianity is not like Christianity in most other countries. It infects and becomes almost parasocial in your own existence in your life, demanding you give over everything and following the good book written by the disciples to the disciples of the disciples of the disciples of the 13 old dudes who knew the world's first live and let live hippie. When in reality, religion is never meant to be your life's GPS. Sure, there are good turning instructions in there. For instance, the 10 Commandments states a few good ones that should be followed. Thou shalt not have no other gods but me. A lot of you ain't following that one. Thou shalt keep the Sabbath day holy. Ain't nobody resting on Sundays, especially if you have a sports betting addiction. A large part of America right now. It's very concerning. Thou shalt not kill. Yeah, let's just say we've been breaking that one even before Moses went up that mountain. So, yikes. Those are some of the good ones to follow with a certain high level of commitment. Not doing so could land you in jail. But there are some which are a little unnecessary, or at the least you have wiggle room, right? In my opinion, of course. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. He knows you said the GD when you stumped your toe after it met its arch nemesis, one of the legs of a chair or of a couch, or you turned too quick and didn't notice that corner of the wall was there and your pinky toe became an absolutely misfigured casualty.
What is that? What the fuck is that?
I am disgusted.
And I think, to be honest with you, I feel like God will let that one slide. I feel like he would. Do not let thyself lust after thy neighbor's wife. It says nothing about husbands.
Gay boyfriends are the loophole of monogamy.
The sexy man renting 3 houses away from me, driving that blue Toyota Tacoma, I observe. And your wife has a Challenger. I'm busy and I'm lonely. What? Don't judge me. I got problems and I window shop. Thoughtfully, not obviously. There's a huge difference. One's catcalling, the other is using your own imagination while continuing your day. But what I am getting at is, if you are subsuming yourself in the faith to the point you can't sit down and enjoy an R-rated movie you paid for and willingly went to as an adult, you made that choice, mind you, then maybe, just maybe, I don't know, become a pastor or a nun. I don't think Catholics allow female priests or cardinals or bishops. They're still plotting their way through the whole father and son misunderstanding right now. Which I have a solution for. Same as the advice that I'm going to be giving this lady. Relax. 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 Priests should be allowed to marry or date. At the very least, everyone has that temptation every once in a while. There's very few people who don't have some sexual attraction. Not a whole lot of asexual people out there. As for her, she didn't have to go see that movie. But even if she did, just for a moment, allow yourself to enjoy something. Faith is fine. Faith, in fact, is good, in my opinion. Whether it's God or spiritual elements, karmatic forces, hell, even Satan to a degree.
I'm just excited to see my Lord and Savior Baphomet represented in such glorious Italian stone.
Faith is good to a degree. Faith can help find you a bit of purpose in life. And also, so long as you use a faith's book as a reference and not a compass, you should avoid being a dick most of the time. No, that's just an orange shriveled dick for the sake of being an orange shriveled dick. God ain't got nothing to do with that one. Alright, that guy actually might be the plague sent by God as punishment for whatever. But faith and spirituality should affect you enjoying a film. Nor is everything political meant to be taken as an insult or with aggression. Like this video. I don't actually dislike or hate this person for posting this video, or any of the other people for posting similar responses to the film. But I think we have to use our faith to understand first when experiencing mediums of art, not judge. This would allow you to see that the film is, as I referred to earlier, an allegory of the eventual assimilation and inevitable temptation of a people's struggle. Sometimes that assimilation can give you family and expand your cultural experience, and sometimes that assimilation can harm you and your already harmed group. And all you can do is keep your soul in a resistant fight. Fight with faith in your group, your culture, and if you are just, faith in your own humanity. Unless that medium of art is that banana that sold for like $6 million or some shit as an art piece. A banana stuck to the fucking wall with duct tape isn't art. That's just stupid as hell. Okay, it is art. It shows through the simplest and cheapest, most mundane messaging that capitalism has more or less taken the creativity and innovation out of the world to such a degree that a fucking perishable food item can fetch a high enough price by itself with a strip of duct tape that the buyer would have literally been better off just buying a fucking banana farm. But they had money to piss away that they didn't truly value. So, F my broke ass and shit.
I'm so broke right now, but I'm starving.
But let me know down in the comment section below. Would you walk out of a film because of spiritual beliefs in the same vein as this person did? Do you think that Michael B. Jordan should say yes to me if I ask him to marry me, if I ever get lucky enough to run into him in public? And do you ever think faith has become too much of an excuse for simply not understanding a message, even when faith isn't the main crutch of what is going on? I feel like it is, but I also understand everyone's faith journey is different and has different iterations of interpretation. So let me know down in the comments below, but you better hit that subscribe button before leaving, or I will find you and cause you to bounce on it.